The time that many chasing him believed marked the dawn of the new millennium was fast approaching. The year was nearing its end, with only a few hours left. But despite what the masses believed, the year 1000 did not truly signify the beginning of the new millennium. Another year had to pass before that would occur. In the time between now and then, fear spread among the superstitious people of the countryside. They were all certain that the evil one was on the move, lurking among them. They had been searching for him. And they had found him. On their holy quest to rid the world of this evil, they were led by the king's wizard, Theren. From one village to the next, they tracked the evil one, but he always escaped into the nearby woods. Every time, they lost his trail, only for him to reappear once again, just out of reach. However, after finally cornering him once more, this time, they were sure things would be different. They were determined to catch him. And when they did, they would end his life. All of them, except Theren, who understood their foe better than anyone, believed that it was their sacred duty to rid the world of this unholy being. "There he is," one of them shouted as they spotted the evil one in the clearing. "Let's get him," another cried. But even then, the evil one, known to Theren as Malith, slipped away quickly, as he always had. At the edge of the forest, he had spotted a small cottage. A plan formed in his mind. While his pursuers remained unaware, he entered the cottage and found it empty. A disappointment. After such a long chase, he had hoped for a moment of satisfaction. He would have taken any target in that instant. However, he set his mind to his plan. He cast a spell of transformation upon himself. His body tingled as if covered by millions of insects, and dizziness overcame him. He collapsed onto the floor, writhing in pain and pleasure as his form shifted. What he had once been was now gone, replaced by a form even his own mother would never recognize. When the sensation subsided, Malith carefully rose. His hair, once a dark shade of ebony, now cascaded like the finest silk, flowing down to his back, brushing gently against his waist. Surprised, his hand moved to his chest, where, as expected, he found a pair of breasts. His hands continued their exploration, tracing the curves of his new shape, narrow waist, wider hips, and a shapely backside. Looking into the mirror across the room, Malith couldn't help but smile at the woman he had become. She was stunning. It was strange, for this woman was him. He chuckled at the thought. He would have liked to spend time with her. She was dressed in a simple peasant gown and crude sandals, and though she was beautiful, Malith knew she could not be seen for who she truly was, the evil one. The mob, now losing track of their prey again, grew desperate. "Where could the evil one have gone?" one of them shouted in frustration. "Maybe he's hiding in that cottage," another suggested. "Then we should burn it to the ground and trap him inside," a few responded in unison. "No," Theren said firmly, raising his voice. "What if the evil one is not inside?" he asked. "What if there's an innocent inside? How many of you would risk eternal damnation by killing an innocent while letting the evil one escape?" The crowd fell silent. "What should we do, Theren?" one of them finally asked. "What if the evil one is inside?" "I will investigate, as it is my duty entrusted by the king," Theren replied. "You will all remain here. If, by some chance, I fail to return, then, and only then, are you to burn the cottage to the ground?" Theren approached the door of the cottage and knocked 3 times, his lucky number. When the door slowly opened, he was taken aback by the sight of one of the most beautiful women he had ever seen. "Excuse me, my lady," Theren said, unable to stop himself from staring despite knowing it was rude. "We are searching for the evil one, the sorcerer Malith. Have you noticed anything strange or unusual in the past few hours?" "No," she replied, her voice sweet enough to make the sirens envious. "I haven't seen anything out of the ordinary, good sir." "Very well," Theren answered with a smile. "But we will return shortly to ensure all is well with you before we continue. If you think it necessary, you are most welcome to come back, good sir," she smiled warmly at him. "I wish you the best of luck in finding the one you seek, Theren." "Thank you, my lady." As Theren turned back toward the waiting crowd, he heard the door close behind him. For a moment, he wondered what the beautiful woman had thought of him. But after taking a few steps, he suddenly stopped. Something felt off. He turned back to the cottage and knocked again, 3 times. The woman answered once more. "What brings you back so soon?" she asked, a teasing glint in her eye. "I was just wondering, my lady," Theren said thoughtfully, "if you would permit me to quickly inspect your home?" "I see no reason why not," she replied with a smile. "As everyone here knows, I live alone. Until you and your companions arrived, I hadn't seen a soul for nearly 2 weeks. But if you think there may be someone else here, you are mistaken. However, I have nothing to hide, so feel free to look around." "Thank you, my lady," Theren said, stepping inside. "If nothing else, this will surely satisfy my curiosity." She thought to herself, if he gives me even a slight opening, it would be so easy to rid myself of this unsuspecting fool of a brother, who is truly the one I fear. "Everything seems as you said," Theren remarked. "I will now take my leave and rejoin those waiting outside. We will not trouble you further." "You've checked all the rooms?" she asked. "I believe so, my lady. A small place like this is easily checked." "And you've even looked into the secret room?" "I haven't noticed any rooms other than those I can see," Theren said, now a bit puzzled. He began to question his initial assessment of her. "You wouldn't, not without knowing where to look. Even if you knew of it, it might still evade you," she explained. "It's heavily warded to prevent detection by even the most powerful sorcerers. Unfortunately, my late husband dabbled in rather questionable things." "Could I see that room, my lady?" "If you wish," she replied. "Its entrance is hidden from your sight, simply concealed behind the drapery right behind you." Theren turned around. As he did, Malith saw her chance. She quickly cast a dissolution spell intended to end her brother's life forever. But nothing happened. "What?" she whispered in disbelief. "Is something wrong, my lady?" Theren asked with a smile, now facing her again. "Or perhaps I should ask if something is wrong, Malith, my brother?" "How could you know it was me?" "Not that it matters," Malith muttered, focusing on the spell that should restore his true form. But just like the previous spell, nothing happened. Regardless of the magic she invoked, she remained in the female form she had taken. Theren smiled at her. "Are you wondering why your spell failed to end my life, my brother? Or perhaps you're more disturbed by your continued retention of this pleasing female form you've given yourself, dear sister? What you've just done is impossible," Malith spat. "The spell of dissolution, once cast against the unsuspecting, cannot be stopped. The fact that you managed to thwart it means you must have known it would be used against you. And you couldn't have known that. If you had, you must have known I was here, which, by the way, your reaction makes clear you didn't." "But I suspected you were near," Theren replied calmly, though not in such a lovely form. "That was enough to prepare me." He paused, his gaze thoughtful. "Whether or not you believe it, you made a mistake earlier that raised my suspicions. When you called me Theren as I left your door, that was a clue. I had never told you my name. Still, my sister, I've known you long enough to not be entirely convinced of your identity. You might have been another of my brother's victims, manipulated to throw us off track. But your spell just now cleared any remaining doubts. I knew you would attempt it once given the chance. That's why I was prepared with wards. You were never a threat to me. When your spell met my wards, designed by the very master we both once served, it triggered my own counterspell," Theren said, admiring her new form. "What have you done to me?" she asked uneasily, noticing his gaze. "You've been severed from any source of magic, Malith. For the rest of your life, you will be trapped in the form you currently hold. I must admit, though, I never expected to find this form you took so appealing. While you remain in this shape, no magic, whether dark or light, can touch you. But, as a balance, you will no longer have the ability to use magic yourself. If that's all you've done, then all I need to do is die to escape this prison, Malith laughed. Once I've finished this worthless life, my master can find my soul in the afterlife and return me to a male body. Being a baby again for a few years will be a minor inconvenience. I might agree with you, if things were equal, Theren replied, gently lifting her chin to meet her eyes. He smiled when he saw what he expected. But they aren't equal, my sister. Fear flickered across her face. What else have you done to me? She asked, her voice trembling. I've given you gifts, Theren said with a smile. Gifts that you may not fully understand just yet. You no longer age, sister, he continued with a gleam in his eye. That's a gift you'll surely appreciate in time. And, because I could never bear to see someone as beautiful as you harm themselves, you're now completely invulnerable to any physical harm, with just a minor exception. No. You can't do this to me. Malith screamed. But wait. You said there's an exception. She suddenly smiled, realizing that her brother had no choice but to tell her. What is it, Theren? She demanded, her tone sharp. He was bound by the rules. For 1 hour, just before the new millennium begins, you can be harmed. In that hour, if you wish, you could try to take your own life. If you succeed, then you belong to your master. If your master decides to reincarnate you as a male, so be it. But, considering what I've heard, he might decide to keep you in your current form, finding more use in it. But if you miss your chance, you'll have to wait another 1,000 years. At first, Malith's fear faded, replaced by laughter. You must think me a fool, brother. My master would never do as you suggest. He would never treat his loyal servant that way, he sneered. You've made this far too easy, Theren. I don't even know why I feared you. I'll escape your punishment in just a year, when the new millennium arrives. Or have you forgotten that it begins in a year? Not at all, Theren grinned at his sister, making her visibly uncomfortable. I'm counting on that passage of a year to make things more difficult for you. He looked her over carefully. You must remain as you are, untouched, at that time. Otherwise, your invulnerability will not lapse. That's no problem, Malith snarled. I have no intentions of ever letting myself be harmed by another. So you say now, my sister, Theren replied. But many things change over time. Might you not be one of them? What are you talking about? Malith asked, annoyed. You have made yourself a beautiful woman, my sister. In the years to come, whatever standard of beauty exists, you will easily surpass it. Even those who may not find themselves traditionally attractive often have their own desires. As a beauty, men will find you irresistibly attractive. Soon after I take my leave of you, new desires may begin to emerge within you as well. As more men become interested in you, you may find them more appealing as well. I wonder how long it will take for you to change your perspective. What are you talking about? Malith snapped. I know what you're implying. A woman can only lose her virginity once. But if I get hurt in the next year, I'm stuck, right? That would be unfair, Theren replied. I'm sure you agree. He smiled. So I've given you another gift. Each month, at the start of a new cycle, your state will be reset, unless you're pregnant, in which case things continue normally. You'll start each month anew, but with each passing day, you'll feel stronger urges until you find it difficult to resist them. Malith looked at him, stunned. That doesn't sound much fairer, she whispered. Perhaps not, agreed Theren. But I've decided to offer another way out. And that is? She asked warily. If you satisfy your desires with someone, and they wish, before leaving, that they could be you, you will exchange souls. But, when the body of either person passes, the souls will return to the afterlife, and yours will once again be subject to your master's will. Theren then pulled his sister into an embrace. Malith struggled, but it wasn't an attempt to harm her. He was simply trying to make her more aware of her new situation. When his lips met hers, her struggle to escape ended. Pulling back from her, Theren looked into her eyes, seeing the confusion and conflict within. Her fear was fading as she processed what had just happened. "We shall return shortly, my lady," Theren said, as he turned to rejoin the waiting crowd, leaving Malith to reflect on the changes. Returning to the group, Theren announced, "We need not search further. The evil one is no longer here, but the Lady Celine, whose cottage is nearby, has asked if she might express her gratitude in her own way for our efforts in keeping the evil one at bay." A cheer erupted from the crowd. From her window, the Lady Celine, once known as Malith, watched the scene below, eagerly anticipating what would come next. If you appreciated this story and wish to show your support, don't forget to join me on Patreon for exclusive content.